Bop, bop, bop. You know what it is. Geeks are back in action, baby. Last card of the year, wrapping up 22 with a bang. This is a sleeper card. Stay tuned for this one. We are going to Vegas, baby. We're in the Apex. This is Sean Strickland versus Jared Cannonier main event. Gonna go down at 4 p.m. ET. So a nice little early bird. Get us ripping on a nice little Saturday on the 17th. Let's get off and get after it. First fight on the prelims of the card. Sergey Morozov, 18-5, coming out against Journey Newson, 10-3. This is a bantamweight scrap. Off rip, I mean, Journey Newson, he had that long break away from the octagon is what I think about. And then, in the time back, I mean, he's looked, decent. He fought Fernie Garcia, went to decision, but, we just kind of saw Fernie Garcia get eaten up in his last fight. That loss to Randy Costa, I'm looking at on his record, getting knocked out in the first round by Randy Costa, a guy that has had a really rough ride through the UFC recently. And then, you go to Sergey Morozov, and this guy's in barn burners. I mean, this guy comes and puts on fights. This guy's got some serious aggression. He's beat Raulian Paiva, who, if you're a Sugar fan, you'll swear he's freaking nasty. And then he went to a war with Douglas Silva de Andrade. And, that ended in the second round. That was nonsense. I mean, he almost put away Douglas like 2 or 3 times in that first round. So I'm leaning Sergey here. I think he's got more pop. I think he's the better, well-rounded fighter, and we've seen him more active in the octagon. So I think this is a good pick, but he's a big favorite. The line's going to be minus 265, returning at Journey Newson plus 210. So that's my take. Dano, what are you thinking over there in the war room?
Yeah, well, over here, I think this card is going to have a lot of dogs on it, at least a lot of fights where people go 50-50. I don't know who's going to win. I like this one as a dog, but personally, I'm going to ride with Sergey. I know Journey's got a little bit of momentum behind him, but Sergey just seems to have a little bit more ways to victory. I thought Journey Newsom was more of a wrestler. And then I looked at his stats, and he's really not getting too many takedowns per fight, whereas Sergey's really involving the takedowns into his game. So if he can mix it up, I'm sure he wants to get back in the win column. I'm gonna ride with Sergey in this one.
Let's go. Goosey, what do you got?
I'm going to be on the other side. I'm going to go with Journey Newsom. I think that he's a little bit more dangerous. He can mix it up. He's got 3 subs, 3 knockouts, and he's got clipped early a couple times, but it's by guys that are known to get early knockouts. I think he'll be able to make this a war back and forth with Morozov, and plus 230, I see a lot of value there. I don't think Sergey is ever going to be in a spot where he can get super comfortable. The grappling's going to be tough. Newsom is explosive on the feet, and I think he's going to be able to catch him with something early.
Fair enough. Front kick, what are you dialing in?
Yeah, I'm just riding Sergey on this. He's a more seasoned guy. But also the people he's been facing recently are better than the Newson's opponents. So I like Sergey. He's just, like I said, more seasoned veteran, and I'm taking him more XP. Just I'm taking him to get the job done.
Let's go. We're moving right into the next bout. We've got a flyweight scrap. This is going to be a really good one. I mean, this whole card. So I'm saying don't sleep on this one. This is a really good card. David Dvorak, 20-4, is going to come out against Starboy Manel Kape, 17-6. Manel Kape, bro. Let's start with him, bro. The Starboy. The nickname kind of fits. I mean, this guy's got so much athleticism. His striking superb. I mean, he's battled some really hard guys. Scheduled competition is pretty deep. I mean, not the best results. Some people can argue he won a lot of these like close fights, split decisions. But dude, this guy's got pop. I mean, this is straight up as one of the guys with the most pop in this division at 125. And Dvorak's coming off a knockout loss. I was really high on Dvorak in that last matchup. We're now seeing it was Nicolau that he fought. Didn't go well for him. But Nicolau's really good. I mean, he's really been putting on performances. We just saw, this guy is really good. And so I'm not really taking too much from him, but I do think that coming off a knockout and Manel Kape, who's been off for a while, he's just fiending to put his hands on somebody. I'm going to take Kape in this one. I hate riding these 2 big favorites off rip because these are going to be good fights and definitely 2 live dogs. but I got to ride with Kape on this one. I do think that this is going to be his spot to kind of explode onto the scene. So that's my take. Goosey, what are you taking?
I'm gonna ride the Starboy too. I think Kape gets it done. I don't like to play the MMA math game, but they have recently fought a common opponent. That is Mateusz Nicolau. They had similar style fights where a majority of it was in the striking, but Nicolau was trying to get takedowns and work the grappling as well. He had a lot more success against Dvorak than Kape, and I think that he was having a hard time hitting Manel and was putting it on Dvorak's chin a little bit. So the striking, I feel like Kape's going to be a little bit more explosive, a little bit more dangerous, and then he'll be able to stuff the takedown to make it competitive if there are any grappling exchanges. So give me Manel Kape in this one.
And he's going to be minus 240. The return on Dvorak's plus 195. Fishman, break it down.
I'm taking David Dvorak on this one. I love the way he's a dog, bro. I like this matchup for him. But yeah, Manel, it's gonna be a scrap. Kape is definitely a dude, but with David, I just see him making it a good fight. And Mateus, before the Mateus loss, I mean, he hasn't lost since 2012. Yeah, he's got a bunch of fights. But yeah, I mean, Mateusz Nicolau, we saw him fight in Orlando. He's great. So I'm not taking that loss
Fair
like
enough.
a big deal. So yeah, give me Dvorak.
Fair enough. Dano, what do you got?
I'm right there with Fish. I'm gonna ride with the underdog on this one. Just because we're almost at plus 200. I'm seeing 195 for Dvorak, and Kape is a legit dude, but Dvorak, his style of fighting is a little bit slower, and how we always talk about the live arenas and stuff makes people, gets the juices going and makes people go to wars. This one will be in the Apex. It'll be maybe a little less hype than in person or live event would. And I feel like that could play into Dvorak style where it is a little bit slower, picking her shots. And if that can happen, I can totally see a Dvorak decision because Kape is a pretty durable dude himself. But I am going to be riding with the underdog.
Fair enough. We are split down the middle. Stay tuned to the sheet, my boys. We're moving to the next bout. We got tough champion Bryan Pooh Bear battle 8-1 coming out against Rinat Fakhretinov. Give me that 20-2. This one's gonna be really good too, bro. I mean, this is Bryan Battle's second fight at 170 since coming down. We saw what he did in his freaking last fight against who was that Sung Woo Choi, and that was just, or no, it was Takashi Sato. Just absolutely obliterated him in the first round, and the power translated clearly to 170. He didn't look the most chiseled, but he looked strong as shit, and he was already known for being strong as shit at 185. So I mean, that's gonna be real. I love his strength in the grappling in this matchup because Rinat is a dog. He does just come at guys. He likes to just, get after it. I mean, he throws hard punches. He'll hold you against the fence. He'll go for chokes. He's pretty versatile. So this is not going to be an easy matchup, but I am going to be riding Bryan Battle in this fight. I think that the improvements that Bryan Battle has been making from fight to fight is just actually insane. I mean, this tough season that just got shit on for talent. I think Bryan Battle is going to be the one that's going to come out of this and really shine for that season because I think he's legit, and I think that he's going to have every tool necessary to battle through a hard first round or whatever the wave is that Rinat brings and to really put it on him. I like Pooh Bear late in this fight. If I had to pin it, I'd say Bryan Battle round 2 sub, maybe 3, but I'll stick with 2. So that's what I'm riding here. What do you got, Front Kick?
Dude, Bryan Battle, like you said, I mean, this dude's a killer every time he comes out. It makes me more of a fan. But yes, compared now to Tough is like crazy different. And with Renat, I just don't see him posing a threat to Battle. He could just drag it out and just, I mean, his average, give me Battle in this, bro. I think his striking is gonna light him up. He just has to defend some takedowns, and even if he does, I see him scrambling, maybe getting on top for a second, and he's a threat on the ground with submissions too. So very well-rounded guy. Striking's coming together, as you could see in his previous fights, but give me Battle, baby. Pooh
Yeah.
Bear.
Initially, red flags on Bryan Battle does have a tendency to get hit, but I think he can make it through a first round. What are you thinking, Dano?
I'm right there with you guys. I like Battle in this one. Ever since, like you guys said, coming off tough. But he's not going down to welterweight. He made that transition a couple fights ago, but him at welterweight, he's a big welterweight. They have him listed here at 6'1". I feel like he's got to be 6'2", maybe 6'2 and a half, a little bit bigger than they have him listed. And then the thing with the gas tank, we saw him in his last fight against maybe it was Olin Jacek, maybe. I'd have to check that, but he was gassing in those last couple rounds, maybe even the last round. He was really gassing, just wrestling, wet blanketing him. And I feel like Bryan Battle, he's good in the grappling. If he does get taken down, because Rinat is a wrestler, he can survive. Rinat's not too much of a submission guy. So if he's throwing punches in there, like Front Kick said, I could see Battle scrambling, getting back to his feet, and then once it's on the feet, I think Battle's just going to be a little bit above level wise Rinat. So give me Bryan Battle.
Yeah, it was Andreas Michailidis that
Gladys.
he had a tough fight with. So, Goosey, what's your take?
We're going sweeping, fellas, because I'm picking Bryan Battle as well. A fight that I look at and it gives me confidence for him here is his fight against Andre Petrovsky on that season of Tough. Petrovsky is a strong grappler who's known to go out and dominate guys, getting powerful positions, and then finish the fight a lot like Rinat. But he struggled with Bryan Battle because he was able to navigate on the ground through that first round and push a pace that really drained his cardio and put him underwater in there until Battle got him out with a submission. I could see a similar style here, especially because that was at 185. And Petrovsky's very strong for that middleweight division. Bryan Battle held his own. I think he'll definitely be able to play with the strength at welterweight. The only thing I'm worried about is the weight cut on short notice, because he is a bigger welterweight. He's trying to make this weight on short notice, and it could drain him. But if he has a good weight cut, I definitely like him to get it done in this one.
Yes, sir. And he's going to be a little underdog tech at plus 100 right now. So catch that before it slips. And we're moving into the next one. We got a lightweight scrap. We have got Mahashete 9-1 coming out against Rafa Garcia 14-3. Oh my gosh, Mahashete. I mean, this guy came out his last performance and it was kind of ugly. Not gonna lie, the beginning was a little ugly. But he's a dog. He's a dog. And he put Steve Garcia away. I'm looking at it now. I just remember him getting hit a little bit. Maybe I'm thinking of it wrong because it's saying first round, minute 14. But I do remember him getting touched up a little bit. He's only had one fight in the UFC, and it was Steve Garcia. So level of opponents, not too crazy. On the other hand, you got Rafa Garcia, who, time and time again, he's been pretty active, and he has been looking pretty decent. I mean, a loss to Drakkar close in his last time out, all the way to the decision, not a bad loss. I mean, we know how powerful and dangerous Drakkar is. He's beat guys like Jesse Ronson, Natan Levy. That's a really good win. After watching what we just watched in Orlando, he looked really good. So, yeah, I think I'm going to keep it simple in this one. I'm going to take Rafa Garcia just to kind of outdog him, out just, everything. I think that he's just going to be the more utility-based dude. So wherever this fight goes, I think Rafa will have the edge. So it's a close fight on the books. I'm looking at it. Looks like Rafa's going to be edged at a – where is this? Rafa Garcia is minus 125, Mahashete plus 105. So, yeah, basically a pick 'em. I'm riding the boy, Rafa. So what do you got, Dano?
I'm all over Rafa in this one. And I think for me, just thinking about it, it's pretty simple. Mahashete is a young dude. He's 23. And like you said, Garcia's been around. He's been fighting the who's who of the lightweight division. And I think that this will be one of those fights where just a young guy runs into a vet who's been there, done that. And Rafa could just, use that experience to his advantage, get in on takedowns. He averages around 4 takedowns per fight, so I don't see any problem with him taking Mahashete down. And then if it goes to the feet, I feel like he can just hang and keep his composure and survive at least. So I'm gonna ride with Garcia, and I wouldn't mind seeing a decision here as well.
Fair enough. Goosey, what do you got?
Going Rafa Garcia here. Looking at the line, I think that is true for the talent in this fight because they are similar. But when I look at it, Rafa, he's got more experience. He's got more ways to win. I like his grappling here as well as his stand-up because I think he can play either game plan here. He's just got to have chin, be pretty durable early, and then push a good pace because I think come the second round, Mahashete is going to be taking some big breaths, and that's right when Rafa Garcia is going to start going to work. So give me the vet in this one.
Let's go. Front kick, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm riding Rafa as well. But with this fight, I just see whoever comes in has a better weight cut and has the better gas tank is probably going to win. If Rafa comes out and starts gassing, I think Mahashete will have the upper hand, and vice versa. But yeah, I'm riding with Rafa. He's more experienced. This dude, he made his pro debut in 2019. He's just been stacking up some fights. But yeah, give me Rafa.
All right, sounds good. We're moving into another fight, and it's a bantamweight scrap. It's a battle of the Seds. We've got Said Nurmagomedov, 16-2, coming out against Saidyokub Kakhromonov, 10-2. And this fight kind of baffles me. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you look at it on paper and you're like, wait, Saidyokub wants Said Nurmagomedov. I mean, and then you look at it and you're like, oh shit, Saidyokub's on a little run right here, like beating guys like Ronnie Lawrence, Trevin Jones, Askar. I mean, not too shabby. I mean, 2-0 in the UFC is 2-0 in the UFC. But we all know what he's getting on the other hand of this. I mean, Said Nurmagomedov is a beast and super versatile. This is the Nurmagomedov that can do everything, like and is like Zabit type shit. So I mean, putting away Cody Stamann the way he did, beating Douglas Silva Andrade the way he did, just beating the shit out of him. I just don't see a good, world for Saidyokub in this one. Even though there is some built up, tension. I guess Saidyokub is pissed off that Nurmagomedov is like overlooking him per se. So there's like a little bit of beef here. But I think that Said Nurmagomedov, kind of should be overlooking him here because this is just a decently hard scrap, but it's not going to get him anywhere. And it's not really going to stick out on his resume too much. So this is a good fight, but like I said, I'm gonna stick with the Nurmagomedov to just, out tactically assassinate this guy over 3 rounds. I'm not gonna play finish because Saidyokub's tough, so I'll take a decision for Said. What do you got, Goosey?
You look at it, and I think the line's completely even here, but it's 2 completely different styles walking in the octagon. Said Nurmagomedov is obviously going to look to keep it on the feet, despite what you might think from his last name. And then Saidyokub Kakhromonov is going to deploy a very, very wrestling-heavy game plan. The biggest gap here is going to be the striking for me. I think Said Nurmagomedov has a big advantage there. I think he'll be able to hold his own on the grappling, and then he's fought better competition. He's more proven to this point. So, and what Vegas is saying is a 50-50. I'm going to have to take the guy that I see have seen get it done more and show up ready to go every time. So I'm going to take Said Nurmagomedov in this one.
Let's go, front kick. What do you got?
Yeah, give me Said Nurmagomedov as well. This dude, same thing with the last fight. I think Saidyokub, his fight style is very taxing, and standing up is not going to be as taxing. So as long as Said can just defend some takedowns, I think he has his way on the feet. So, but yeah, he gets gassed early. I see it's a rough night for Saidyokub.
Yes, sir. Dano, what do you got? Wrap us up.
I'm surprised that no one took the Saidyokub bait. This is a like Goose said, pretty even fight. But I also am going to be riding Said Nurmagomedov, and we're looking at the numbers, and I see Saidyokub's got averaging 6 takedowns per fight, and that would worry me. But then I look back at his record and we see that he had like 10 takedowns against Ronnie Lawrence, who doesn't have the best takedown defense to start with. So of course that number is going to be going up. And then in a 3-round fight, said Nurmagomedov's got pretty good takedown defense. If he can shrug a couple off and, like CEO said, win 2 rounds, because Saidyokub is a durable guy, I could totally see Said winning this by decision. He's just too good on the feet. He throws the spinning stuff and straight shots down the middle and shots pretty much from everywhere. So stuff a couple takedowns, win 2 rounds, maybe win 3 rounds. But I'm riding with Said Nurmagomedov.
Let's go. We're moving right into the next one. We got 2 big old boys, middleweight scrap. Julian Marquez, 9-3, coming out against Deron Winn, 7-3. This one's gonna be a good one. Off rip, I'm thinking this is pretty much Julian Marquez's fight to lose. Because Julian Marquez, he's gonna be the bigger guy. I mean, Deron Winn is always gonna be the smaller guy because he refuses to cut all the weight. So he goes in there like, the little stature he's got. So Julian Marquez will be able to, keep distance and play a good striking game with him, and then if it turns into a, double leg scramble, whatever, Julian Marquez has a lot of submissions on his record. So, I mean, anywhere the fight goes, he should have advantages. I mean, Deron Winn has been subbed, so that's not like out of this world. And Julian Marquez, only thing about him is he did just get knocked out by Phil Hawes. I believe it was Phil Hawes. Actually, it was Gregory Rodriguez. And it was brutal as shit. RoboCop put him down bad. But the thing is, that was 6 months ago. So, I mean, he took his time off. I think that Deron Winn doesn't have too much power on the other side to worry about. So I think this is a good fight for Gregory Rodriguez to get back in the mix. Shout out to the kid for practically dating Kendra Lust. I don't think he wants to say it, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing. So shout out for the kid. He's doing big stuff. But that's what I'm riding with, man. If he can't get this done, I'm not sure what his future really holds. I mean, this fight's pretty much tailor-made for him. So that's what I got. Daniel, what do you got?
I'm going to hop on the other side, and I believe everything that you said, but I just feel like Deron Winn, he is DC's boy. And he definitely should have implemented some more takedowns, or at least put more effort into the takedowns against Phil Hawes. And I think he realizes that, he understands that. And someone like Julian Marquez, who, his nickname is the Cuban Missile Crisis, so he does have bombs in his hand. He's going to need to implement some takedowns. Marquez himself is not great at stopping takedowns, so if Winn gets in trouble, I think he's going to have no problem shooting and no problem getting takedowns. And when he gets there, he's a full-blown wrestler. Like I said, he's with DC. So DC's definitely got to be hyping him up for this fight. So just for that reason, I'm going to take Deron Winn.
Fine. Take the 5'6" guy. I'll take the 6'2" guy. Lucy, what do you got?
I'm going with the Cuban Missile Crisis here. And I definitely think that Deron Winn's going to get his takedowns in this one, but it'll almost play into that Marquez just brawler style game plan, because I do see this fight getting very sloppy, and I see it where Deron Winn comes out, starts getting takedowns, and Marquez is just struggling getting back to the feet though. And then come the second round, Deron Winn's going to be breathing heavy, and that's when Marquez is going to hit him with a flurry and put him away, because he carries his power throughout the fight regardless of how gassed he is. And it's going to be really hard for Deron Winn to get him out of there in this one. I think this could be similar to the Phil Hawes Deron Winn fight, where Phil Hawes ended up getting him out of there, I think, with a second round KO. And I'll say the same for Marquez in this one. Deron Winn, he's good, but like you said, he's 5'6" at middleweight, and that's telling me that he's not as dedicated as he could be, maybe. So, in what is going to be a war of attrition with Marquez, I'm going to take Julian Marquez to get it done.
Let's go. Fishman, what do you got?
Yeah, with Deron, I just think that with these recent fights and judges and shit, it's damage over control time, and that's what I think Julian Marquez is going to do. Deron's plan, negative strike differential, so he's going to be getting tagged up, and I think the only way you can win is just by wrestling, and I don't think I think Julian, all he has to do is hit him 3 or 4 times, and then doesn't matter if he gets 4 minutes and 59 seconds of control time per round. He's probably going to sneak out a decision if he just hits him a couple times. So I'm riding with Julian, the Cuban Missile Crisis, baby.
Let's go. He's minus 170. Deron Winn is plus 140. We are moving into the next one, the co-main to the featured boot. It is Jake Matthews versus Matt Semelsberger. Jake Matthews 18-5. Matthew Semelsberger 10-4. Oh man, this one's gonna blow your guys' mind a little bit, but I'm taking Matthew Semelsberger in this one. Jake Matthews really couldn't have looked any better in his last fight. I'm not gonna lie. He's minus 260 in this fight. Semelsberger plus 205 the return. But the thing about Jake Matthews with me is that he does like to get in these barn burner brawls. He does get enticed by these. These are fights that he will take part in. And that plays perfectly into Matthew Semelsberger's game plan. I feel like he's also a guy that, you know, from fight to fight is just making massive improvements. And I think that he's going to be a big guy in the ring that's going to be able to shoot takedowns, and he's going to just be able to mix it up a little bit better than Jake. I definitely think Jake's going to have the advantage on the feet, and that the first round is going to be scary as shit because this guy's got nuclear fists. He put it on display in his last fight. But Matthew Semelsberger's got a fucking chin, and he's been going to decisions with just about everyone he's fought, and he's been fighting some tough dudes. So I think that he can take this fight to a decision and really just scrap out a W with some hard takedowns and some ground and pound in between, you know? So that's going to be my underdog pick of these prelims, like my reach of the prelims. Matthew Semelsberger plus 205, and by decision. Add the extra juice because everyone's got the chalk on the under. So, yeah, man. What do you got, Goosey?
Dude, I thought I was going to be the odd man out. I'm kind of feeling Semelsberger here too. And I say that because, like you were saying, it really couldn't have gone better for Jake Matthews the last time out. You know, he was fighting a guy that everyone was very high up on in Andre Fiallo. He found a way to expose him, and then Andre Fiallo comes out and gets exposed like the same exact way his next fight. So right there, a little less impressive for me. And then I think it's just a letdown spot for him where he's going to come out, maybe overlook Semelsberger, who has had a few rough fights or coming off a loss to Morono. But as we saw, Morono is kind of a dog here too. So I can't knock Semelsberger too much for having a letdown fight his last time out, but I think he's going to come into this one very focused, and styles make fights, and these guys are matching up pretty similarly. Semelsberger's going to be the bigger guy in there. He likes to brawl, and at a pretty sizable dog, I think that he's got a lot of value on him here. So I'm going to go with Semi the Jedi.
Let's go, Fishman. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with. I'm fading. I'm fading Semi the Jedi. I just remember that loss sat terribly. The taste that fight left in my mouth was terrible. I almost went perfect on that card. Only L on that card. So I'm picking Jake Matthews, baby.
Fair enough. Dano, what do you got?
Yeah, you guys really you got me going with the Semelsberger, but I just haven't flipped yet. I'm gonna be riding with Jake Matthews. I would love for Semelsberger to come out and win. I'm a big Semi Jedi fan. But the thing that's just in my mind is Matthews is a wrestler, even though he displayed his hands in that last Fialho fight. When I look back at Semi the Jedi's last fight against Alex Morono, Morono threw in a couple takedown attempts. He didn't get any takedowns. He just threw a couple takedown attempts. And that really left Semelsberger just cautious of it, to where, you know, we always talk about if you can implement takedowns and the guy's got to worry about, you know, stand-up game and takedowns, it can open some holes. If I'm Jake Matthews, I'm getting 1 or 2 takedowns in that first round, and then I'm coming out guns a-blazing like in that Andre Fialho fight, to where Semelsberger's just worried about the takedown and maybe lowers his hands a little bit, or maybe isn't as active as he'd like to be. I think that's how it's going to go. I think this will be a barn burner and definitely potential fight of the night, but I am going to be riding with Jake Matthews.
All right. We got the featured prelim Cheyenne Vlismus 7-2 coming out against Cory Mckenna, also 7-2. I'm going to be brief. I think Cheyenne wins a decision just based on volume. Cory McKenna's quick, but Cheyenne her striking looks just a little bit more educated. That's my take. Fishman, what do you got?
Give me Vlismas.
Dano, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with Cheyenne as well. And if she fought Montserrat Ruiz, and she took Cheyenne down a couple times in that fight. But if you remove that fight from her record, she has not been taken down in the UFC. Cory McKenna does like to go to the ground. I believe Cheyenne's just going to be able to stuff takedowns, and then once it's on the feet, I'm with Cheyenne all day.
Goosey?
Going Cheyenne, I think she's going to be able to keep her on the outside in the stand-up, and then Roman Dolidze probably taught her some takedown defense, so that's what I'm going with.
All right, you heard it. Those are the picks and predictions. All of the prelims. Stay tuned for the main card. Let's get it. Geeks went 10-2-1.
10-2-1.